Hi, everybody. All right, another one from Sputnik. Why the Rothschild is shifting from US dollars to gold and other currencies. Not kidding, not making this up. This is actually happening, and I imagine if you look at their bank statements and everything else funneling through the stock markets, you will legally and literally see this actually happening. So, two big what the heck stories today, ladies and gentlemen. And both of them come from the same spot. One, the Germany is telling everybody to put food and supplies together. And this one's saying the Rothschild family is shifting from the US dollars to gold and other currencies. So, Western central bankers are conducting the greatest experiment in monetary history with consequences impossible to predict. Lord Rothschild writes warning that the world is now in uncharted waters, supposedly. This coming from RIT Capitol Partners Chairman Lord Rothschild. So this is coming from the Rothschild Capitol Partners Chairman, folks. This is flippin' big. Okay, this is the guy that probably oversees everything. Now, how much is everything? I don't know. But he warns that in his semi-annual address to investors criticizing central bankers for what he called the greatest experiment in monetary policy in history, the 6 months under review have seen central bankers continuing what is surely the greatest experiment in monetary policy in history of the world. See, they say Jackob Rothschild, but I think when they're referring to him, they're saying Nathaniel Jackob Rothschild, and the reality is it's probably not him. I think they're actually referring to somebody else here, but according to this, they're referring to whoever the current RIT Capitol Partners Chairman Lord Rothschild is. And if I'm right, Jackob is no longer in charge of all this. But again, I'm just trying to show you what's going on here, folks. Because he basically gave up his throne to Nathan, which was his nephew, from what I understand. We are therefore in uncharted waters, and it is impossible to predict the unintended consequences of very low interest rates with some 30% global government debt at negative yields, combined with quantitative easing on a massive scale, he stresses. Rothschild has called to attention the fact that despite the policy having resulted in a rapid rise of stock markets and growth cannot last forever, as the real sector remains anemic with weak demand and deflation in many developing countries. And then he basically goes in and names, the United States, Germany, France, UK, and everything going on with the EU, terrorist attacks in the EU, Middle East, etc. So they're claiming this guy here, folks, but the reality is this guy is so old, he gave up his power a little while ago, so I don't know exactly if he's still in power or how cognitive he is, but he's 82, 83, and from what I've heard, he's not that, that complacent anymore. Now, I don't know who's ruling through him. I believe it to be Nathan. But he is supposedly, from everything that I've heard, he basically stepped down as a world player a few years back. But anyways, this goes back to RIT Capitol Partners, and that is what you need to look for. Look at the stock. Find out if RIT Capitol Partners is actually taking money from the US dollar, because here it is right here. Rothschild signaled that he is shifting from sterling in anticipation from Brexit and the US dollar to gold and other currencies. So that is the big thing there. So RIT Capitol Partners and Jackob Rothschild and family thereof has signaled that they're shifting from the sterling anticipated to the Brexit. Excuse me, I apologize. And the US dollar to gold and other currencies. So the UK dollar and the US dollar is gone. UK note, whatever you want to call it. And they're pulling from the US dollar as well. No doubt they're also pulling from the Canadian and others to gold and other currencies. Other currencies, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, would be like all the internet currencies. And even quotes here, our significant US dollar position has now been somewhat reduced as following the dollar's rise, we saw interesting opportunities in other currencies as well as gold, the latter reflecting our concerns about monetary policy and ever declining real yields. Lord Jackob Rothschild explains. This comes from the guy in the end of June 2016. RIT Capitol Partners increased their gold and precious material assets by 8%, or to 8%. Commenting on a matter by Russia.com, online media outlet pointed out Rothschild's concerns clearly indicate that the global economy is heading to a perfect storm due to irresponsible monetary policies of Western central banks. So he's actually coming out and saying this. I mean, look at, or now he goes into U.S. President Obama and all his problems relating to 2008. So it's basically coming down to another situation. Look at this. Look at this word. Dangerous worldwide experiment. I don't even have to go through this anymore with you. You see what's going on here. And basically, look at this right here. You can just pull out sentences in here. Countries are acquiring gold in advance to the collapse of the international monetary system, he remarked in an article from the Telegraph. So I'll show that as well. So this is a big deal, folks. This is an absolute big deal. This is a very big deal, folks. Thank you.